Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Journals, and I'm back with a bit of a different video. Today I am going to be doing sort of how I hand letter, that's the series that is going to come out on a Tuesday during VADA. So welcome to day 2 of VADA. And today I'm just going to be going over sort of my standard handwriting. So I have a Papermate Flare here, and this is a Rhodia dot grid 5mm dot grid pad. I'm just going to zoom in. I have another angle filmed at the side of me here, that's what you can see the legs of, just because it'll allow you to see a little bit better, I think, how I'm actually writing. So I'll switch between the two views. So today I'm just going to go over my usual handwriting. So let's just pop a title down so you can see the sort of handwriting I mean. And I mean, this isn't my day-to-day handwriting, but it is what my day-to-day handwriting is based off of, which, you know, is my handwriting is basically a sped up version of this mixed with a sped up version of my cursive. So that's the sort of font we are going for. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk you through the basics of it and then how I do each letter. So the basics of this is that every letter is exactly the same size. Every letter fits in to a square. And it doesn't matter whether that's an I, a T, whether it's got a dot, whether it should be taller or not. And that's the thing like people generally really like about handwriting, is when it's really uniform. So even if I decided not to do this style and I decided to do sort of a more traditional style, I'd still have everything the same. I just spelled handwriting wrong, how embarrassing. I'm just going to put the W and let's just cross out that R and do that. Whoops, was focusing too much on what I was saying rather than what I was writing. So even if I did it like that, which is also what my handwriting used to be like with the ups and downs, my main letter is always exactly one square. If it goes up 2, and if it goes down 2, unless it's like an F. That was a cursive F, that is not what I meant to do, which would do that. Fs always look massive in this font to me, so I actually often do an F just 2 rather than 3, but some people prefer it like that. So yeah, that is the general idea of how you write. Everything fits into a square and you just want to keep it as uniform as possible. This is not a cursive, this is definitely a print, and this is what my print would look like if, you know, I was really focusing. My actual handwriting, if I just scribble and write at my normal pace, turns into more something like that. And you can see how it's vaguely the same, but it's much messier. I join random letters together and it's just not quite as neat, but it is far quicker. So yeah, this is what the font I'm going through today is what my main handwriting is written off. And as I say, everything I'm going to write will fit in a 4x4 square. I try and make my circles as round as possible, so we'll start with lowercase. And for a lowercase a, I try and make a circle that is as circular as possible, and then just add a tail. Again, so basically this is made up of circles as close to circles as you can make them, and straight lines. So a B, similarly, is just a straight line, and then an oval, which is by 1 by 2. So with letters that have an up and a down, they the half of it will go into 2 by 2. So what we'll do first is I'm just going to write the alphabet here. So we'll go through sort of the 2 by 2 letters first, and then I'll go through the entire alphabet. So we'll go through these top letters here first. So starting, we've obviously already done A, but let's start again with another A. So again, nice round circle and just a little tail. C is similar, it's basically a nice round circle with a gap at the end. E, I start from the middle dot, draw an almost full circle but don't quite meet, and then draw a line across. Or rather than make it sort of so pointy, I start from there, go all the way across, and then circle it around like that. Same sort of thing, but I actually prefer this one, but I don't always go quite right to that dot so that it doesn't stick out. Like that. I sort of start 2/3 of the way up the 4x4 square, go down in a nice curve and right up to the middle, and then just add a dot. I like my I's and my L's to be sort of more like that in this style of writing. I just do. Onto M. So M starts as a straight line, then about halfway through the top line. So I feel like I need to explain what I mean a bit more. So let's draw some lines. So this is the top line. This is the bottom line. So this coloured in square here is going to be your letter. Yeah? So top line, bottom line. Left line, right line, not that I ever use them. Halfway through the top line, top square, be there. Halfway through the bottom square would be there. And they're sort of the 4 different divides, and the middle obviously. They're the different divides I use for different letters. So for the M, I'm going to use this one here, so halfway through the top square. And I'm going to start the next part of my M from there, and go up right to the top and then all the way down to the bottom. And then I'm just going to do exactly the same thing again. Does that make sense? So like with the I start from this line again, the halfway through the top bit. Do the I. Oh, I'm off camera, I think. And then the dot goes just in parallel with the very, very top line. Let's just number these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll use 1 to 5 to explain. Does that make everything easier? I think so. So quite often my letters start from the rightmost point on line 3. So A starts from there. I start my A's there. And then when I get back to there, I just go straight down. Yeah? That kind of work for you? C, I start from 2 on the rightmost point and go through to 4 on the rightmost point. E, I start from 3 on the leftmost point, which is a little bit different, go towards 3 on the right hand point and then round, make this hit at 2 and then go round to 4 on the rightmost point. I've already explained I, but I'll just draw it again to help you. Then M we've already talked about, so straight line first, from 2 on the leftmost line, up to the top and then down on the middle, this middle, and then the same again. N is similar, except rather than going just to the middle line, you go all the way across. So again, from point 2, you go all the way across to there. O is basically a circle, as round as you can make it in this font. R, I do a line down, and then similarly to an M, I start in the same place, but only go through to the middle dot, so to point 3, to like height 3. S used to be one of my least favourite letters, but now is one of my favourite. So what I do with an S is I start at point 2, carry it up to the top line, across, down to the middle line, across nearly straight, then down right to the bottom, and then curl it back to sort of height 4. That was a bit squarey, but if I take that as more of a flow rather than explaining what I do, I think that style of S is really pretty. I really like how that comes out. So that's an S. It used to be one of my like worst letters, S, and it is in some of the other fonts, but I really like it in this font. U is like the opposite of an M, an N, except what I do is I draw an entire curve and then just a line straight down. U's are pretty easy. I like this font because it's nice and simple. V you can do in 2 ways. You can either just do 2 straight diagonal lines like that, or like in one like that, or you can do a U but without the bottom line, but just slightly less curved at the bottom, if you see what I mean. It just depends what you prefer for V. X, again, is just dead simple. It's just 2 diagonal lines in this font. There's not more to say about that than that. It's just an X marks the spot. And finally, of these letters, a Z, draw a line on your top and your bottom, join them with a diagonal. You can either leave it like that, or if you're like me and you prefer a line through your Zs, you can just add a little line in the middle. So that is all of the letters that are sort of normal height in inverted commas. So moving on to ones that have a top bit, like a B. So you draw your line down for a B, and then rather than your A, which is sort of a 4x4 circle, you do a 2x1, a 2x2 circle, you do a 2x1, and yeah, and then it's just, they're all made up like this. So a D is the same, you do a 2x1 but the other way around, and then a straight line. Then you move on to slightly more like complicated things like a G, again it's a 2x1 and then you just do a curvy line, and again I like to take it to 0.4. G should not be in this little section, that's a lie, ignore that, let's move that. Let's ignore that G for now, because we're meant to be doing letters that go up, not down. Anyway, I'll explain the same thing when I get to G again. H, back to the letters I'm meant to be doing. Again, start with a line, then I start right at the bottom of there, go up and round and back. The other thing you can do is you can do it more like an M and start sort of at 0.4 and go like that. Just depends what your preference is. I don't know, I prefer this for some reason. Don't know why, because most of my other letters I prefer like this, but meh. So that's a H. K you can do in 2 ways. So you can do your straight line and then a diagonal line almost from the bottom, so from 0.4 right up to 2.3, and then halfway along that I take it and do a diagonal line like that. The other option is to do a circular K, so do a big circle and then like that, so like a cursive lowercase k, or again you can do the same sort of thing but with your diagonal starting from there. I just think this one looks the nicest. The other thing you can do is you can take that first diagonal line up to 0.2 rather than but then that just looks, rather than only to 0.3, but to me that just looks more like an uppercase K. So it just depends. The way I draw these is because of how I will, some of the different fonts will come on to later, but yeah, so that's K. L's dead simple, just a curvy line starting at 0.1 and then going back up to 0.3, just because, as I've said with I, it's just exactly the same but with no dot and it comes a bit higher. And then the last one of letters that go upwards is T. So T is essentially an L that you add a cross line to with at the point of 2, and it's up to you. Have a play how far you want that cross to come across. I like it most like this, so that's what I do. Again, you can change your height a little bit, so you can only take that end up to 0.2 rather than 0.3, 0.3 rather than 0.4 rather than 0.3. I'm forgetting my own number system and it's written in front of me. So yeah, that's those. And again, just have a play. If you're trying to learn this font or trying to letter like this, just practice, make it your own, have a play, find what you like. On to letters that have a bottom bit. They are pretty similar to these except the other way around. So you draw your 2 circles at the top for a G rather than the bottom, and again I just like curvy lines, so I have a curvy line there. J is basically the opposite to an I, so it's just like an inverted I. there's nothing else to say with that. It's like a mirror image of an eye in this font. P, again, straight line, and then just a nice 2x1 circle bit. Q is the same, except the other way, and you can add a little tail if you prefer, or you can leave it tailless. I've just gone up a line for no reason. Just depends which you like. I just think this looks slightly more like a Q. It does make it slightly longer than 2x2, but that's fine. And then Y, you just do a curve and another curve. And again, you can do this curve first and then sort of only start it part way through, but again, I just prefer it like this for no other reason than I do. So theoretically, F's should be separate because they should go one up and one down, but in this font, everything is the same size. So an F is just the same as a T, except the other way up. So this font is dead simple. It's a dead easy way to make a nice uniform font that is just really easy to practice, really easy to get nice lettering with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, rather than go through each letter individually, I'm just going to go through in sort of my own, like at speed. I'm going to leave this at 1x speed. I'm going to go through and just write the entire alphabet through, just to give you another go. Whilst doing that, I realised that I don't think I went over W. I didn't for some reason. I just ignored it as a letter. So again, W is pretty simple. You just do a curve between two U's, but 2x1. That's all it is. So yeah, that is this font, and that Z is really wonky and it's annoying me, so I'm going to redraw it. You'll notice I say draw rather than write when I'm taking my time over the letters. It's because it is more like drawing. Handlettering is definitely more like drawing than anything else. And yeah, so cool. Let's just zoom back out, and there are the legs of my other tripod, which you will hopefully have been seeing. I hope you enjoyed this little whistle-stop tour. Maybe I should write some words actually. Well, do you want to see a couple of words? I'm just going to write the quick round. No, I'm not. I'll tell you what I'll write. I'll write the days of the month and the days of the week. That's what I will write. And again, just to give you an idea of how this looks written out in words. And what I do when I'm writing in words is I leave a gap of 1 between each letter, which allows me to which allows me to spread out my letters nicely. What I was showing you there, completely accidentally, was how you can alter this lettering to make it a bit different and to make lots of different styles. So what I was doing there, that T, rather than having a 2x2, is I had a 1x1. And yeah, so you can either make it taller, so you can make it 3x2 and just do the same sort of thing but with different dimensions, and it can give it some really different looks, and it can really make it your own sort of handwriting or your own font. And that's all there really is to this. So yeah, have a play, see how you like to write, yeah, just make it your own. So I'm going to speed up now and just write the rest of the days. There we go, so that is all of the days of the week. I don't know whether you noticed, but on Wednesday and Thursday I like sped up and did my Y a bit dodge because I was just getting bored of the writing. So yeah, that's what this handwriting looks like for days of the week. Obviously you make this smaller to fit in your planner or whatever. So I hope you found this useful. There will be a new way of writing next Tuesday. So I'm going to do sort of 2 different handwriting styles, 2 different brush lettering styles, and another form of hand lettering. So that's what these 5 Tuesdays in April are going to be. So yeah, thanks for watching. Check back tomorrow for another video every day in April. I hope you enjoyed. Comment like down below what else handwriting wise you'd like to see from me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!